Hello and welcome back. I'm Anna Delman. It is day number 174 of my note writing adventure, and today my note is a continuation of everything I've been focusing on for my own edification this entire week. And it started with me writing these verses out and then wanting to do a dive into the certain words in the Greek so that I could just have a deeper understanding or remind myself of the understanding that I already knew. And as I looked at the verses and walked past them repeatedly, I challenged myself and I wrote questions of challenge, and then it just developed into more and more and more. And then I wanted to get back to my original intent, was to dig it out. So day 174, my little note to myself: promise made, promise kept. That is our assurance. God promised when we are His, we are a part of His covenant through Jesus. So Hebrews 10:23, let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for He who promised is faithful. Now that verse is very important to me, and that's the ending verse after all of this study that I did. But I wanted to particularly focus on the firmness, the standing firm, the standing firm, the standing firm. What entitles us to that, and what does it look like? Friends, the only way it can look like anything in our lives is if we have Hebrews 10:23 as our reality, that we know that God who promised us is faithful, and when He makes a promise, He keeps it. Promise made, promise kept. You cannot, friends, you cannot stand firm in your faith on your own volition. Impossible. You just simply can't. Sometimes life gets so ugly and there's so much coming at you from all directions that unless you have that vertical relationship secure, you're not going to stand firm. Now, I did look up the word standing firm and in the Greek, and it's the Greek word 2476 if you want to look it up as well, and G4739, and it's repeated in both. It's repeated in each of these. So, and the one is derived from the other, etc. if you want to do a deep dive. So in 1 Peter 5:9, resist him, firm in your faith. What does that firmness look like? And we discussed that the other day. It's to be stiff, to be rigid, immovable. You're not going to change. And you won't change. It's to be solid, to be stable, to be strong, to be sure. It is because of a covenant. Now, the only covenant that we as believers will know is solid and true is not one that we can do anything about. It's a covenant God made with mankind, and that is through Jesus Christ. That is the only way you're going to stand strong, is if you are, where do I have it? Doing Philippians 4:13. It's Christ who strengthens me. I can do all things through Him. Friends, when you're being attacked from all sides, and your life is being bowled over, and there's nothing you can do about it, and no one, absolutely no one, and I've explained this before, in your entire community, county, city, state, country, neighboring, no one on your continent stands up for you, not one. There is only one person who you can go to help you to stand firm, to give you the stiffness, the rigidity that you are not going to waver because of Him. Okay, so in 1 Corinthians 16:13, it's G4739, as it is in 2 Corinthians. It is G4739. And then 2 Corinthians 1:24 is G2476. It's the same as 1 Peter 5:9. And then Philippians 1:27 is G4739. So it's the same as in Corinthians. So in 1 Corinthians and in Philippians 1:27, to stand firm in the faith, in these two, It means to persevere, to be stationary. So if you take all of that together, friends, it means just sit. Not, it could be literally, figuratively, whichever is true in your situation. And sometimes, friends, we just need to sit. And in those instances, let go and let God. It doesn't mean you give up on life and say, okay, you take over, God. We need to be balls rolling, moving forward. Unless we're moving and doing things, it's not going to change anything. It means our hearts need to be sitting and resting on what we know to be true. Because, friends, as I've said before, my icky circumstances that I didn't like here before my health went bad, friends, I know my friends throughout the world. I lived in the US for so many years. I saw icky stuff happening in churches there. Real icky stuff. Terrible icky stuff. Now, I'm not saying that's the church in the US. No, it's not. I have the most wonderful, godly friends who I communicate with regularly who are there, and they are believers. All I'm saying is that it doesn't matter what your neck of the woods is, where it is. People everywhere have hearts, and our hearts make us the same wherever we are. Without God to give us the strength. Okay, so how are we going to build this foundation? How are we going to focus it? Ephesians 2:20 says, you need to build on the foundation, and Jesus is the cornerstone. Every building that is constructed in wherever, it's that cornerstone that goes in from which you measure everything else, with the string attached, and you measure and you kind of line everything up. You're not going to line anything up well in your standing firm, in your digging in your heels to do the right thing and respond correctly, unless you have Him. And that gets back to the foundation of His Word. Do you know it sufficiently that no matter what is going on, you are going to be strong and you are going to be out there, not literally punching people, but a heart being victorious and punching all the badness and negativity away. Okay, Psalm 127:1 says, unless the Lord builds the house, those who build labor in vain. It's futile. Friends, you cannot take it on your own. You simply cannot do that. You may think you can, but then when you don't have dependence on Him to strengthen you, Him reminding you over and over again what it is you need to do, you are not going to be victorious. So it goes back to the hymns I focused on earlier this week. How firm a foundation, and then what a friend we have in Jesus. Without Him as your friend, your guide, your helper, leading you through, you're not going to have that firm foundation. Now, there's a difference between having a firm foundation and responding correctly as He would have you, and being just plain nasty. Now, that's a hard thing. When people have been super nasty to you, friends, in the name of God, it's very hard to walk past them and be gracious. I have struggled with that very much in my life, especially when you know they've been told to never greet you and to not welcome you, and you have to walk past them. I have, when I've seen people in my path ahead, they may or may not have recognized me or noticed me, I have walked in the other direction just to avoid a difficulty. I think that's wisdom there. I believe that's wisdom there, because anything I did or would say would be reflective. I've been in a restaurant, transparency, your friends, where one woman who complained about me after I had been in the country for 24 hours and made this whole thing, carried it on for 2 years about me having been here for 24 hours. I had severe jet lag and hadn't slept in about a week, saying goodbye to all my dearly loved ones. I saw her and I got up and I walked out. I advise you to do the same. Why give? And I'm sure she went and said, well, you see, Anna Delman, that's the kind of person she is. If that's what she did, that is her, not me. It's hard, friends. Sometimes you're in situations where you cannot do anything else but have the Lord as your God and Savior. nothing else you can do but rely on him. And when you get up and walk away, or you get up and walk out, it's, Lord, I cannot deal with these people. You deal with their hearts. You know the reality. You know the truth of what occurred, and I entrust it all to you for his glory in his time. So until tomorrow, friends, day number 175, take care and God bless, and we will talk again. Bye-bye for now.